What are you doing here?
The story opens at a U.S. Marine Corps training base on October 7, 2007. 4 days later, Captain Sam Cahill receives his deployment orders for Afghanistan. Before leaving, he writes a heartfelt farewell letter to his wife, Grace, just in case he doesn't make it home. He hands the sealed envelope to his commanding officer, praying it will never need to be delivered. At home, Sam is the perfect family man. He has a devoted wife, Grace, and 2 young daughters, Maggie and Isabel. His younger brother, Tommy, couldn't be more different. He's just been released from prison after serving time for bank robbery. When the 2 brothers reunite, Sam picks him up from jail, and they drive back toward town, the silence between them heavy but familiar. Grace is busy preparing dinner to celebrate Tommy's return. The warmth of the house stands in contrast to Tommy's rough edges. When he walks through the door, Isabel blurts out that she doesn't like him, her honesty cutting through the awkwardness. Still, the whole family gathers around the dinner table to welcome one son home and bless the other before he leaves for war. Their father, Hank, can't help but stir trouble. He drinks too much and begins comparing his sons, praising Sam for serving his country and shaming Tommy for breaking the law. "Your brother's a hero," he snaps. The tension quickly rises, ending in a heated argument that sends Hank storming out of the house. Before Sam leaves for Afghanistan, Tommy tells him quietly, "Be careful out there." That night, Sam removes his wedding ring and hands it to Grace. She threads it onto a chain around her neck, whispers that she loves him, and they hold each other for a long time. 5 days later, Sam is already rolling through the barren Afghan desert. He films everything on his phone: wrecked vehicles, burned-out villages, endless stretches of sand. His voice sounds calm, almost peaceful, as he says he feels strangely at home here. But as the helicopter carrying his unit crosses a mountain pass, enemy fire erupts. The aircraft goes down hard, vanishing in a plume of smoke. Back home, Grace is soaking in the bathtub when the doorbell rings. Maggie answers, and 2 uniformed soldiers stand there, hats in hand. They deliver the words no military family ever wants to hear. Captain Cahill has been killed in action. Grace freezes, then collapses. She replays old home videos again and again, calls Sam's number just to hear his voicemail. "Sam Cahill, please leave a message." That night, a drunken Tommy shows up at her doorstep to return a damaged car. When he sees her sobbing, he assumes she's upset over the headlight, until she breaks down and tells him the truth. He's the last one in the family to find out. Nobody could reach him all day. Tommy explodes in anger, shouting that they should never have let Sam go to war. Later, he sits outside his parents' house, alone, until his stepmother invites him in. He refuses. Grace struggles to get the girls ready for the funeral, but they both refuse to wear black. During the ceremony, she finally receives the farewell letter Sam had written. Afterward, Hank, already drunk, tries to drive home. Tommy takes his keys and the old man lashes out, again comparing him to his heroic brother. But this time, Tommy fires back, accusing his father of being a lousy husband and of filling Sam's head with military fantasies. Hank stumbles home in silence, and Grace quietly tucks Sam's letter into a drawer, unable to open it. Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, Sam is not dead. He and another soldier, Private Joe Willis, have survived the crash, only to be captured by the Taliban. They're thrown into a zindan, an underground cell of dirt and darkness. Sam warns Joe to say nothing, to give them nothing. Back in the States, Tommy is unraveling. Drunk again, he calls Grace at 3 a.m, begging for money, $47 short of what he owes a bartender who's threatening to report him for violating parole. Half asleep, Grace drives out in the middle of the night to bail him out. The next morning, the clatter of pans wakes him. Maggie and Isabel are in the kitchen making pancakes to cheer their mom up. "Stop it," Tommy groans, but Maggie keeps going, determined to make her mother smile. When Hank drops by, he's surprised to find Tommy there. Sober for once, the father apologizes for his behavior at the funeral. Tommy admits that Sam was always the smart one. "That's not true," Hank says. "You just never finished what you started." Tommy mutters, I'd slit my own throat to bring him back, Dad. Thousands of miles away, Sam watches through the cracks of his cell as a helicopter circles overhead. He starts hammering loose planks with a rock, hoping rescue is near, but a Taliban guard shoves a rifle in his face and weighs the boards down with a stone. Inspired by his father's comment about Grace's terrible kitchen, Tommy starts renovating it. He and a few friends work tirelessly, painting, fixing cabinets, laughing, a small act of healing. 2 months drag by. In the Afghan pit, Sam tries to stay composed while Joe deteriorates mentally, accusing him of dooming them both. "You should have let me die," Joe whispers. Sam tells him to hold on, to stay quiet. One day they hear shouting. The Taliban have caught a local man who used a satellite phone to call his pregnant wife, revealing the camp's location. They execute him on the spot. The leader turns to Sam and says coldly, "This is our country. You don't belong here." He orders Sam to deliver that message to America, or die. At home, Grace's kitchen project nears completion. The men even let the girls help paint. Maggie splashes a bucket onto one of the workers, sending everyone into laughter. The man needs new clothes, so Grace digs through Sam's closet, but the grief overwhelms her, and she collapses in tears, arms full of his shirts. In Afghanistan, the nightmare continues. Sam is tied to a post under the open sky, drenched with water as they force him to watch Joe's torture. A searing iron touches Joe's flesh. He screams, then confesses on camera, saying Americans have no right to be here and sending love to his wife and child. He even reveals that Sam has 2 daughters. Grace comes home to find her kitchen completely finished, a surprise gift for her birthday. Friends and family gather to celebrate, but there's still an empty seat, one that no renovation can fill. Winter arrives. Isabel, jealous of her younger sister, complains that everyone loves Maggie more. Tommy tells her about the time Sam saved him from drowning in this very river. Later, they visit the ice rink, and Grace is startled by how natural Tommy is with children. One afternoon, Tommy tracks down the bank clerk he'd threatened years ago during the robbery. He apologizes sincerely. The woman admits she lived in fear for 3 years, convinced he would come back to kill her. When Tommy tells Grace, she's proud of him. That night, the two share memories of their school days. Grace admits she never liked him back then, that he was always drunk and fighting. They laugh, eyes meet, and before they realize it, they share a desperate, fleeting kiss. Grace pulls away, shaken, and Tommy leaves in tears. Meanwhile, Grace still hasn't opened Sam's letter. In the Afghan prison, Sam reaches his breaking point. The Taliban hand him an iron pipe and order him to kill Joe. When he refuses, they threaten to kill his family instead. Shaking, Sam swings the pipe. Joe's screams echo, then fade. The execution is filmed. Weeks later, Tommy stops by Grace's house again, pretending it's just to install decorative panels. The air's awkward between them after that night. He says softly he'd still like to see the girls sometimes. Grace smiles faintly and replies that they're all happy whenever he visits. Moments later, Hank drops by and is stunned to see how handy his youngest son has become, working sober, focused, almost decent. Half a world away, U.S. forces locate and storm the Taliban compound. Gunfire tears through the valley. A Taliban leader raises his rifle at Sam and misses before being shot and tumbling into a ravine. The camera that recorded the execution burns in the chaos. When the dust settles, Sam is finally pulled from captivity. "Get down!" a soldier yells as they lift him from the pit. Back home, Tommy is playing with the kids in the yard when the phone rings. Grace answers. The voice on the line tells her something impossible. Sam is alive. She stands frozen for a moment, then bursts into tears. At the airport, the whole family gathers as the returning Marines arrive. Sam steps off the plane, thinner, pale, eyes sunken but alive. Grace runs to him, the girls clinging to her legs. Tommy hangs back, caught between joy and guilt. At home, the girls proudly show their father the new kitchen. "Uncle Tommy and his friends did it," they chirp. Sam forces a smile, the warmth in his eyes already dimmed. That night, he lies on the bed holding Grace and the girls, gripping them so tightly it almost hurts. Later, in the bathroom, Grace kisses his scars, but Sam's body stiffens. He turns away. Something inside him is broken. The next morning, Tommy reads a newspaper article about Private Joe, killed by Captain Sam Cahill. His face tightens. He says nothing. Hank, watching his eldest son withdraw, is reminded of his own return from Vietnam, when he too came home a stranger. At the rink, Sam watches Grace and the kids laughing with Tommy. The sound of their laughter makes him uneasy. He tells Tommy quietly, "You look good with my family. Thank you for taking care of them." Then, after a pause, his tone hardens. "You didn't sleep with her, did you?" Tommy freezes. Sam's eyes are sharp, haunted. "You did, didn't you?" Tommy swears he didn't, but Sam's convinced otherwise. From that moment, suspicion eats at him. A few days later, the family of the soldier Sam killed visits their home. The widow, holding her baby boy, asks Sam if he saw what happened to her husband. Sam's eyes flicker. "No," he lies softly. "I didn't see." The guilt nearly chokes him. That night, unable to sleep, Sam roams the house. He arranges glasses on a shelf, lining them up with military precision. Then he picks up his pistol and walks from room to room, lost in a fog of rage and shame. The next day, he drives to the military base. Standing in front of his superior officer, Sam says he wants to redeploy. The major studies his face. "What about your family, Captain?" Sam looks down. "They don't understand me." Nobody does. He returns home anyway. That evening during dinner, Maggie and Isabel chatter and giggle, making silly jokes. Sam suddenly slams his fist on the table, shouting that their jokes aren't funny. The room falls silent. Grace reaches for his hand, but he pushes back from the table and storms out. Isabel whispers, "When is Uncle Tommy coming back?" Later, Grace tries to reach him. "Talk to me about Afghanistan," she pleads. Sam turns away. Nothing happened there. Then his voice darkens. "Tell me what happened between you and Tommy." Grace shakes her head. "Nothing? I thought you were dead, Sam," but he doesn't believe her. That night, Sam drives out to a cemetery and stands before Private Joe's grave. The boy was only 21. Sam stares at the headstone, trembling. The next morning, when he returns home, Isabel sees him from across the yard. Her face fills with fear. She backs away. Sam kneels down and hugs her and Maggie, whispering, "Everything's fine. Daddy's fine," but his voice is hollow. He tells Grace he spent the whole night thinking about them, realizing how lucky he is to be alive. For a moment, they hold each other, pretending things are normal. Soon, it's Maggie's birthday. The family gathers at Hank's house. Everyone waits for Tommy, who shows up with a date, a bubbly young woman named Tina, whom he met barely an hour ago. She tries to make conversation about the military, but her ignorance grates on Sam's nerves. As the dinner goes on, the girls start bickering. Isabel whines that everyone likes Maggie more. She keeps squeaking a balloon, disrupting the adults. Sam's patience thins. "Stop it," he says. She doesn't. Then she blurts out the words that shatter the room. "Why didn't you just stay dead?" "You're mad because Mom wants to sleep with Uncle Tommy, not you. They're always together." A heavy silence follows. Grace goes pale. Sam stares at his daughter, broken. The ride home is silent. That night, Isabel apologizes through tears. She admits she lied. She just doesn't like her dad anymore and wants Uncle Tommy instead. "Me too," Maggie mumbles. Sam sits in the darkened living room, staring at nothing. "Did they say their prayers?" he asks softly. Grace nods. Without warning, he gets up, grabs a crowbar, and starts tearing apart the brand-new kitchen. Cabinets splinter, glass shatters. "I came back for my family," he shouts, "and you betrayed me." Grace screams for him to stop, pleading that she loves him. "You know what I did to get back here?" Sam cries. "What I did with my own hands?" He punches himself in the head, smashing everything around him. Tommy bursts in and tries to restrain him, wrapping his arms around his brother. Sam twists free, pulls a gun, and points it at Tommy's forehead. Sirens wail outside. Police flood the yard, weapons drawn. Sam steps out, still holding the pistol. "Drop the weapon!" they shout. "You're a war hero, Captain Cahill." Sam's voice cracks. "A hero. You don't know what I did." He presses the gun to his temple. "I'm drowning Tommy." "Sam, stop!" Grace cries, tears streaming down her face. After a long, breathless moment, Sam throws the gun away and collapses. Officers rush in and arrest him. That night, Grace sleeps beside the girls, keeping them close, trying to make them feel safe. When the house finally goes quiet, she opens the sealed envelope, the letter Sam had written before he left. "If you're reading this, it means I didn't make it back." Grace breaks down, sobbing, clutching the pages to her chest. The words are a time capsule from before everything went wrong. Days later, Sam calls Tommy from a psychiatric clinic for war veterans. His voice is calm, almost peaceful. He wants to make things right. Tommy agrees to take care of the girls while Grace goes to visit. When she sees Sam, he looks fragile, eyes red but clear for the first time in months. She sits across from him and says softly, "I've loved you since I was 16. But if you don't tell me what happened over there, you'll lose me forever." Sam looks down, his jaw trembling. "Why are you torturing yourself?" she asks. After a long silence, a single tear rolls down his cheek. "I killed Joe Willis," he whispers. Grace reaches across the table and pulls him into her arms. They stay that way, silent, as if words no longer matter. Sam stares into the distance. "Do you think I'll ever live a normal life again?" he asks quietly. Grace doesn't answer. She just holds him tighter. Outside, morning light pours through the window. The world moves on, unaware of the small, broken family trying to piece itself back together. One confession, one breath, one fragile promise at a time.